From the Video 8 archives comes another bit of Jerry Garcia memory kind of shows, just following his death. This one aired 30 years ago today on VH1. An episode of the show Crossroads, where music critic Michael Azerrad talks about the influence of the Dead on the HORDE generation jam bands, Blues Traveler, Dave Matthews Band, Phish, Blind Melon, even Rusted Root makes its way in there, and makes a pretty convincing case for the Dead's style or spirit to live on.
Hi, I'm Amy Scott, and welcome to a very special edition of Crossroads. For the next half hour, we'll be celebrating the tremendous influence that the music of the late Jerry Garcia and the Grateful Dead has had on some of today's most popular bands. Grateful Dead singer and guitarist Jerry Garcia has passed away, but the spirit of Garcia and the Grateful Dead has already been passed on to a whole new generation of bands. Those bands really found their home base with the HORDE Tour. The HORDE Tour started as a crazy idea by Blues Traveler's John Popper and quickly became not only the Lollapalooza of the neo-Dead scene, but also one of rock's most successful traveling festivals. The HORDE group owes a clear debt to the Grateful Dead.
But there are similarities in the business aspect of all five bands to the Dead's setup, and that is that it's a family sort of organization where the crew members are treated as family members. They're generally given benefits, health insurance. It's not like you're a hired person. And I think that that's the biggest similarity, other than the fact that all five bands improvise on stage and do a different set every night.
New York's Blues Traveler, who boasts Dead-style extended jams led by virtuoso harmonica player John Popper, recently scored a top 10 hit with the song Runaround. Then there's Phish. Despite virtually no airplay, the band has scored hit records and big sold-out shows thanks to endless touring and a freeform musical style. The Dave Matthews Band has also tapped into the Dead's legacy. The band's eclectic blend of rock, jazz, and folk, and a love of hitting the road, has earned them a platinum record. So even though Jerry Garcia is gone, his music and spirit live on in a whole new generation of bands. Joining us tonight is music journalist Michael Azerrad, a longtime contributor to magazines including Rolling Stone and Spin, and the author of a critically acclaimed biography of Nirvana. Michael, tell me, how do these bands all connect to the Dead?
Well, it's interesting because they don't all connect musically. They don't all sound exactly like the Grateful Dead. In fact, some of them don't sound anything like the Grateful Dead. But there is an affinity for the 60s counterculture, a kind of laid-back, mellow counterculture style, as opposed to punk rock, which is sort of angry and defiant. There's also a really strong sense of family, extended family, community that they tap into. And I think that's also the way these bands got popular. There's a formidable Grateful Dead grapevine through the internet, word of mouth, fanzines, all kinds of things, where if a band strikes this particular community, word can travel like wildfire.
Okay, everything but the tie-dye, I guess, huh?
Pretty much, yeah.
Let's talk specifically about the Dave Matthews Band. Now, a lot of people are saying that they are the next Grateful Dead.
Well, I mean, the Dave Matthews Band does tie into the Grateful Dead legacy. The Dead were really into world music, folk, country, jazz, and Dave Matthews Band also touches on that very eclectic musical menu. So I think that's where they fit in.
Okay, well, let's tell you what, let's take a look at their video now. Here's their latest. This is Ants Marching. Those guys are great. The Dave Matthews Band. Deadish? Yes, I think so. Hey, when we return, we'll check out more bands that are upholding the musical legacy of Jerry Garcia and the Grateful Dead.
That somebody would want to, hopefully it would be that somebody would want to do the same kind of thing that we do. younger bands would want to do this. You'd hope that the younger bands would want to improvise and want to stretch out and have that looseness.
Welcome back to Crossroads, where we're celebrating the continuing influence of the music of Jerry Garcia and the Grateful Dead on some of today's most popular bands. Next up, we've got Blind Melon. Now, what's the connection between Blind Melon and the Grateful Dead?
Well, a lot of Blind Melon's music doesn't really have anything to do with the Grateful Dead whatsoever. I mean, the lead singer is a good friend of Axl Rose's, but in a way that only proves how deeply the Grateful Dead's music has influenced a lot of musical culture. And this next song that we're going to hear, No Rain, right?
Right.
Has a real, that light hippie jazz feel that the Grateful Dead had down to a T. So there it is.
That's it, plain and simple. Let's check it out. Here's No Rain by Blind Melon. Great tune. Now, Rusted Root, obviously a lot of Grateful Dead connection here. They look kind of neo-hippie. I mean, baggy clothes, right?
Yeah, they got that kind of floppy hippie vibe happening. But, I mean, another connection with the Grateful Dead is the fact that the Dead, in the middle of virtually every show they did, had something called the Space Jam, which incorporated a lot of exotic sounds and rhythms and lots of percussion and world music elements. So that's a pretty strong connection there.
These guys do that too as well.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Also, matter of fact, speaking of the Grateful Dead's percussion, didn't Mickey Hart, the drummer, have some side projects?
He had something called the Diga Rhythm Band, which was very world music inspired. He also did the soundtrack for Apocalypse Now, which is extremely world music-y.
I didn't know that. That's great.
Yes, and he's also produced a few records by South American and African indigenous tribes making music out there in the jungle.
Well, there you go. We're learning something.
Yeah.
Coming up next, another band that's obviously a big descendant of the Grateful Dead. We have a special live performance by Blues Traveler. That's coming up after the break. Hi, and welcome back to Crossroads. We're going to finish up tonight's salute to the enduring influence of Jerry Garcia and the Grateful Dead with a very special performance by Blues Traveler. Now, John Popper, of course, started the HORDE Festival, the HORDE Tour. Could that be a yearly place where maybe Grateful Dead fans might converge from here on?
Well, I think it was already becoming such a place. And now with the Grateful Dead perhaps out of the picture, it could become the natural rallying point for that community. So, yeah. That
would be great. Kind of a new place to spin, right?
It would be cool, yeah.
It would be very cool. Well, great. I'm very pleased to end tonight's show with a special in-studio performance by Blues Traveler. Here's a Crossroads premiere of their song, But Anyway.
Thank you for watching Cleveland Live Music. If you like what you see, hit the subscribe button. Or hit the next video button. Or if you really like what you see, you can do the American thing and send money. There's like information for that stuff in the video descriptions. Just keep watching the videos. That's all I care about. Taped all this junk for some reason. So, again, thank you for all the support making the channel grow. Ain't that America? Rah, rah, rah.